Hey folks, Randy Newberg here. Thanks for watching this episode from Season 9 of Fresh Tracks. Did you know that our Fresh Tracks Plus platform now has a free option? Yeah, if you go over there, you can watch this episode and a few others ad-free. And those of you who are paid subscribers, you already know. You can get a lot of exclusive content there. You get early access to content. You get invited to our exclusive live streams. And some of you even win an hour of FaceTime with me where we can plan your hunt. Go check out freshtracks.tv at the link below. Well, here we are back in Nevada. Seems I get back here every other year or so. And the whole idea is come here, spend a week with my buddy Scott Jones, and chase deer. One of the things about this unit is Scott hunted it a lot as an archery hunter back in the 80s and 90s. And a lot has changed here. The deer numbers have changed, the habitat has changed. You know it's bad when you start doing that and then you're pulling it back. The sound your shoulders make is like if you had a bucket full of about 12 marbles inside a 1 gallon coffee can. You're
Hey there.
You see that, Jones? Scott lives in Washoe Valley over in western Nevada. He always comes over the day before. He picks a campsite. And if he has time, he does a little scouting.
There's, I'm sure there's going to be, we're going to find something that's...
Yeah, but I got to get my practicing in.
It would be nice to get one.
Well, I mean, you know that I usually mess up the first 5 or 6 stalks, so... Just because he's not Big Hank doesn't mean we shouldn't at least practice.
Practice makes permanent.
That's right. The idea is look at some of the spots that Scott traditionally had done well in, and if that doesn't work, here are all the other spots that I had on my map.
Well, this is the first time Randy's ever drew a tag in an area that I've actually hunted before, so I'm hoping that we'll see some deer.
We got there right at the perfect time. It's just beautiful sunrise. It looked like it should be crawling with deer. Looks like about a 23, 24 inch buck. I got a buck over here.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm. Good. Nice one.
Really?
Mm.
Awesome.
Yeah. See, just wherever Jones says to go, that's where you go.
Well, let me know if you want me to keep an eye on him while you look for more, or
I'll go find some more.
Go find some more.
I'll keep this guy in my view. I think he can bed up in that pocket all day.
You usually do see more.
Up in there?
Actually, yeah.
Over here?
Yeah. I've lost him now. He went in those trees. I don't think I'm going to pick him up again.
Well, there weren't many antlered deer, but that's just the way hunting goes. Probably the best guy I know for glassing on long sessions is Jerry Pritchard. That guy will sit there forever. You just gotta say, hey, what's plan B and plan C and D and keep it going. Oh, you went and got a chair?
I did.
I was thinking you'd get a sleeping pad.
I did see a little group of bucks.
A little group of bucks or a group of little bucks?
Well, that same thing. Three little bucks.
A little group of little bucks.
Yeah, a little group of little bucks.
So what's our tally? We saw 1 3-point. Was he a 3 or 3-point?
He might have had thirds, but.
And then we saw a forky, and then 2 bull elk and 8 does.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna buy the baby new shoes.
This is a pretty smooth riding truck, Randy.
Oh, it's only got 5,000 miles on it. A few more trips like this, it'll be like a lumber wagon. So that afternoon, we went to another spot, and we did a ton of glassing. And looking, and glassing, and looking. Like this brand new paint job we got here this morning. Brand new truck. Scott Jones is like, oh, it's a little tight in there. There you go. That's what happens when you have buddies like Jones. It'll buff out, he says. So in the evenings, the east side, when the sun goes down to the west, the east sides are going to have a lot of shade for a pretty long period of time. So we tried to use that to our advantage, and the deer did come out pretty early. But again, no bucks. I've never been in this part of the world except for one time, but Scott, he used to hunt here quite a bit. So I'm thinking that if for some reason we don't find all the deer we're looking for, you know, I'm probably going to shift some of that burden to Scott's shoulders and say, my good friend, I don't know what happened there. Usually he's dialed in, so given how dialed in he usually is, I think we're gonna find some nice deer. Maybe we'll luck out and Big Hank will show up, but if Big Hank doesn't make an appearance, we're not gonna be judgmental to the guys who still are trying to be Big Hank, but they aren't old enough yet. And they do taste better, like Jones said.
They do taste better.
Nevada. It's starting to rain, Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
Let's go get something to eat and we'll find a buck tomorrow.
Okay, I like that plan.
I'm getting soft in my old age where I don't hunt in the rain very much. Especially when I come to a place like Nevada.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. Started day 2 and have to talk to Randy, see what the plan is. It's going to be a hot one today, though, I think. I don't think we're going to get that nice cloud cover that we had yesterday.
Nice buck up here. I'd shoot that buck so quick if I was given the chance. Uh-oh, here's some more bucks. Look at those two right down there in the sun. It's a spike and a 3-point. He's actually a small 4-point. Or at least one side's 4. This guy up here, I think he's gonna bed in some of that sparse rock and brush. I just don't want him to go bury himself in a big grove of aspen. We saw a pretty decent 4-point up here, and we were hoping he's gonna stay bedded or stay nearby. And he disappeared in a little grove of aspens, and we've lost him. There's a small 4-point right down here in this brush that we can see through this spotter. They've bedded twice now. He's not a big buck, but I don't care. I just want to get some stalks in.
But Don's be here in a minute or two.
Okay.
He said he saw a fair amount of bucks this morning, one pretty good one.
Don lives in Elko, and anytime we get within, I don't know, 100 miles or so, we try to rope him into coming out and spending a day together.
How are you? Hunt?
Scott?
Always good, man.
Yeah, buddy.
And so I was looking at where the deer were bedded, and you can usually tell that, all right, if they're bedded facing this way, that means the wind is coming over their head.
Wish me luck, Dr. Jones. Need all the luck I can get.
And I'm thinking, all right, if we can drop off here, make this big loop up and around and come down in behind them, we might have a chance. I grabbed Dale, the camera guy, and off we go. Jonathan and Don and Scott stay up, and we're going and we're going, and I'm looking at each rock like, all right, be quiet, be quiet.
So Randy is sneaking up and around. The buck's gotten up twice to feed.
And Dale taps me on the back. He's like, hey, he's up and moving. And so the little one, he's just like a little forky. And the bigger one isn't that big. He's a 4 with small forks on the front and small forks on the top. But he's up feeding. So now it's like, dang it. You don't know the random pattern they're gonna take in their feeding. Here comes the biggest of the 2 bucks right underneath us. It's like, oh no. He's 80 yards away, and he stops there and he just looks up at us. That buck just keeps looking, and you can see in his body language where he's saying, something isn't right here. Toom, toom. And once they start going, they really put it in swift and fast.
Oh well, we wanted to get a stalk in. We got a stalk.
They're still running up, so I think they're gonna go a ways before they lay down.
Oh well. Pack it up, head back to the guys, and try to find something else.
That wind just whipped on you, didn't it?
Actually, when you saw them run, they'd seen us. We were so close.
We drive around to this other point, and we get there, and we don't even get the trucks parked hardly. And Don steps out of his truck, and he looks up there, he's like, I think there's a deer up there. He's a big-bodied deer. And so you're thinking, is that an elk? Or is that a mule deer? This mule deer is so big we can't tell whether it's a deer or an elk. Well, he's bedded and you can't really tell, and with the heat waves, the mirage, everything, and then some brush kind of obscuring him. Wow, is that a deer? He just stood up, back feeding again. Holy crap. I'm 100% sure now that it's a male deer. White buck, black tip. This is a buck, and it's a really nice buck.
I said, no, that's an elk, because I'm looking at its antlers. I'm going, that is so big, it's an elk. But it's a deer.
He feeds for a little bit, and he goes and he beds right down. I mean, there's a landmark right there. Going to get him. This road just goes down here, drops down in dead ends, so we're gonna start angling. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get over the crest and come up this way, and when that thermal's coming that way, we're gonna be right there. I just ranged the rock he's bedded under. I got about 168, 170 yards. So there's another rock ledge here at about 150. If we can get to that, it's gonna be really close.
Boy, that's a real nice buck. And I'm gonna say a little prayer.
We start sneaking and sneaking. I'm crawling on my hands and knees, and I peek over the rocks. Oh my gosh, there he is. But he's looking right at us. He's not as big as we thought, but he's built for score. Deep in the back with deep forks, front that curls in, and a lot of mass. And the only way you can see the buck is to move over to this little gap, and when you do, he can see you. I get Dale there, and I'm trying to show him where the buck is. As we're getting things set up, all of a sudden I look out of the corner of my eye and I see this buck going over the horizon. Well, that's a bummer. Oh, wow. And Dale's trying to get a peek on him, and I'm like, oh, he just went over the ridge. Dale didn't even get to see him.
Boy, it took him about half a second to get out of his bed and get out of there. So we'll go find another one.
Time that doesn't work out.
It's fun to get your hopes up, though.
And that other side where he ran to, man, does that look like serious deer country. I was pretty happy to get 2 stalks in one day, especially by day 2. So day 3 comes along. His idea is that to get up this early, stand up on a windy mountain when it's 50 degrees. And we're not seeing that much. So far, we've only seen 1 deer this morning. Day 3 might turn out to be a bust at this rate. Hell of a deal, I tell you. Hell of a deal. Not a cloud in the sky. 90 degrees. Wind blowing. And the deer are over there chuckling. All right. Well, we're gonna start over tomorrow. We've eliminated a lot of ground where they're not. I'd say day 3, if there's such a thing as a bust, day 3 was a bust. Hey folks, Randy Newberg here. Hope you're enjoying this episode from season 9 of Fresh Tracks. It's been out on our Fresh Tracks Plus platform since we launched last September, and now we're launching season 10 over there. No matter where you watch us, whether it's on YouTube or whether you're one of our paid subscribers, we thank you. And if you want to check out Fresh Tracks Plus, I hope you go to the link below. It'll take you to freshtracks.tv. Whether you sign up for the free version over there or you sign up for the paid version, either way, we really appreciate it.
I'm ready to head back to camp and recharge some batteries.
Where's my butt pad? Day 4. We got to start dialing it in here because the first 3 days could have been better. And at least today the wind died down. Yesterday the wind blew so hard all day long you could hardly see.
And we get up there just at the perfect time. And there are deer there, 10 here, 12 there, 4 down here.
The deer up in the mine. I'm getting close to 30 deer this morning and I don't have a single buck. I don't think the buck to doe ratio is that low. I just don't think I've found the pockets where the bucks are hanging out yet.
And we're hunting where there are these big gold mines nearby. And out on this little rock island, there's 8 bucks.
And even though the mine is on public land, there's signs that says, you know, no public traffic allowed. And it says, I read that sign right there. It says, attention, no traffic on the haul road.
We're just gonna have to backtrack all the way back. And it takes us so long to get there. And then we keep going and going and going and we get back there. And now we realize you can't get to the spot where the 8 bucks were. Man, it looked like you might be able to get here on the map, but all the roads are closed because of the mine. And there's nothing you can do about it. Well, now what do we do? And I told the guys, look, I am dying right now. I am so tired. I'm going and taking a nap in this grove of aspens.
All right. There's a buck up there, but the rest of the guys are napping. I mean, he's not huge, but he's a 3 or 4 point, and we only have 2 days left.
I don't know how long I slept, but all of a sudden I hear Jonathan say, hey, Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Randy.
I got a decent buck spotted if you want to come look. Sorry to wake you. Oh.
Huh. Well, you better wake me up if you find one on the mountain above us.
That big green patch, he's right in the middle of it in the scope. He might be a 4x4.
Well, I go over to where he's got the spotter, and sure enough, here's this nice 3-point there. I'm like,
He's about 21 inches, 3-point fork on the front. All on the back.
While we're doing that, Dale looks in the spotter, he's like, oh, I got another buck. Instantly, Scott and I are looking at maps again. We should take this little spur road that goes up there. We have to gain about 400 more feet of elevation. So we do that. We drive over there, hike up this ridge. So we get up there and we start sneaking along this old mining cut with some brush growing along the edge of it. Well, those bucks had moved and bedded right under that lip. Ooh, I don't even got to look down in there. There they are. We're gonna have to almost belly crawl or duck walk to get over there.
The draw comes like this. They're bedded right here where the wind's blowing over them. I think when they get get out of their bed. They're gonna get up and they're gonna feed right in there. And we're just gonna have to be really patient. It's probably gonna take until dark. In the time that we'd left, they got up and they'd fed a little bit and then they bedded down again in a slightly different spot. But I can still see the velvet above this brush. I think we can get through these aspens without a lot of noise. And so I range it and it's like 85 yards. I find a little gap in the trees to where the bucks had been and I look and there's no bucks there. Where are they? So I keep moving, get to this next little gap, and I kind of get up on my knees and I look and I can see the 3-point feeding kind of like he's gonna come out. I tried to get to this one little bush down there that was about 15 yards further, but I couldn't get there before they came out up out of this brush hole up onto the bench. So I'm stuck there at 58 yards. The little buck he's more alert than the big buck. He's looking up like something just isn't right. The bigger buck looks at him and looks up at me. Doink, doink, doink. Little buck, doink, doink, doink. Off they go. I know some people would say 58 yards, Randy, if you can't make that shot, I can make those shots some of the time. Probably most of the time. With a strong crosswind, with a downhill angle, nope, I ain't taking that shot. I want to get to that position where I'm 100%, or at least 99.9% confident that this animal is in my freezer before I pull the trigger on my release or on the rifle. 58 yards.
I said 60, he said 52.
Really?
Hey, that was fun to watch, man. That was awesome.
Well, and as quick as that sun, that's what he smelled me. I just felt like this. Instead of coming in my face at this quarter, it came that way. The little one, every time I felt that weird wind, he'd look. He'd be feeding and he'd look.
That was about as close as you can get.
Yeah. And we hiked out of there. It was eventful, but no deer to show for it. We go back up into those same basins looking in the morning thinking, all right, they got to be up in here. Well, Dr. Jones, day 5.
Yep.
Let's start looking. Let's start glassing. No, more does. Come on, dear. Where are you at? Let's go over the other side and look. Okay, 2 does. I looked at Scott and said, you know what? We're gonna shake it up. We're gonna go way north. So before we do that, we'll go back to camp. I'll make us some tacos. We'll take a little nap and then we're gonna go north. Then you gotta bounce up these roads to get up here. Ooh, this is a nice 4x4. We see a pretty darn nice 4x4. He's he's in that gap facing straight away from us. And he's feeding. Kind of making a marker. Okay, he's right about here. Get my pack all organized. And as I'm looking in the spotting scope, the buck gets up and he starts looking downhill and he's on high alert. Well, rats. Blows out, takes off running up into the aspens. I got my release on, got my bow out, got my pack on. quite honestly, if they're gonna run off, you want them to run off before you head out. And I thought we were gonna get him, or at least get another stalk. We didn't. We go back up to some of those places we'd been the day Dawn was with us on day 2. Down below us, a really big forky, like probably 21, 22 inches, and really long eye guards.
I'll watch where he goes, see if he bends. Maybe he'll bed somewhere that we can get a stalk on him. Or maybe he'll go bury himself in one of these big clusters of aspen.
It's just so disappointing when this was unbelievable deer area back in the late 80s, and I feel honored that Randy took time out of his schedule to come back and hunt with me still. He's a true friend.
All of a sudden, he gets up, off he goes into the aspen.
And there he was.
Gone. You don't know if he's 200 yards on that end, 200 yards on this end. I haven't found any other deer. Stayed there, looked some more, didn't see anything. People don't know that I was an art major in kindergarten. So for my best friends, I scratch out a horse pig, a gift to my special friend Scott Jones for all he's done for me.
Thank you, Randy.
It looks like we're gonna go home to Montana with another Nevada tag in our pocket. I wish I could tell you I had it all figured out, that I was like God's gift to archery mule deer hunting, but I'm not. I come here, I have fun. I spend a week with my buddy Scott Jones. The reason I do these hunts is for the friendships that I have with people and the landscapes that intrigue me. There's just something about the landscape that I'm enamored with. And if you have a friend who you've known for 35 years and who you use hunting as your mechanism or your opportunities to get together and create more memories and share all the past fun times we've had, I hope you'll do that. Mr. Jones, thanks so much. Gosh.
I sure appreciate you coming down.
Such a great time.
Oh,
Drive careful on the way home.
thanks so much, Randy.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you coming down and